All right, day 5. So it's been 5 days since I got the PRP injection in the quadricep tendon and patellar tendon in my right knee, and wanted to provide a little bit of a status update as far as how things are going. So it's been a couple days, maybe 2-3 days since I last provided an update, and yeah. So as far as things are going, I think things are slowly progressing as far as how my knee is feeling. I guess maybe the level of swelling and the level of stiffness is maybe slowly receding, I would say. And so, as of a couple days ago or 3 days ago, when I provided an update, I was using crutches to get around and was doing pretty much no weight bearing on my right foot. And I think I'd posted at that time saying, hey, there's no real soreness or anything like that at the, where the injection location and things like that. Is more just stiffness. I think what I've come to realize over these last couple of days is that you do get sore and tired, but in a different way. And what I mean by that is using crutches to get around and shifting your weight differently and trying to go up and down stairs. Uses different muscles, right? You're putting your weight on your hands and into your shoulders and obviously your other leg and foot, right? So I think maybe one benefit I had to do in some of the PT exercises over the last couple months, thinking I'd be able to heal up on my own, was doing a lot of single leg balancing and mini squats and that type of thing. And so I'm finding I'm balancing on my left leg quite a bit, right? And so after actually posting my last video, feeling pretty good, going to bed that night and getting down in bed, I was like, oh my gosh, I am tired and my body hurts. So, and there's like particularly around, I don't know the name of the muscle group, but it's going to be, right at where your, I don't know, right at your hips, right? I guess on the front side of your hips, I think where I'm noticing that. Instead of, fully bending my knee as I'm walking, it's more of like this stiff knee, more engagement of that joint or the muscles right in the front of the top of your hips here to move your legs kind of forward and backwards, right? So I was real stiff around in there, or sore, I would say, or tired around in there. So that's kind of one thing that I recognize for sure. And really my movements have been around the house at most. And I've actually been kind of trying to, as best I can, because I do get super stir crazy, I've been trying to reduce how much I'm doing, right? And so, early in the week here, we live in like a 70s style split level home. So kitchen, living room, bedroom are upstairs, and then my home office is downstairs. And so, what I was doing is hanging out in my home office and having my leg up on my desk while I was working away. Dinner time, meal time, I'd be back upstairs at the dining table with my leg up on the table. Sometimes I'd be hanging out in the living room at the coffee table, pillow up on the coffee table, and have my leg up there, so my knees kind of bent. And yesterday afternoon, evening, I just realized I'm sitting in all these different locations, and it's not that comfortable. It's like my knee is just not feeling great. I can't get my knee and leg comfortable in those various locations. And so maybe my one piece of advice and what I'm kind of circling around here is that is to find the most comfortable place for you to hang out in your house and spend as much time there as you can, right? And be less focused on, if possible, saying, hey, here's all the different areas I typically hang out. I'm going to still hang out in those areas and just figure out how I can make them comfortable-ish. Today, for example, I just took my work laptop up from my home office into the bedroom, and I'm just spending as much time in bed as I can because that's where my knee feels the most comfortable. And so I'm still kind of on that train of trying to rest as much as possible. Even as you see, there's a touch of sunshine outside, deciding like, oh, I'm going to go out in the backyard to get some fresh air. It's like I find like a patio table chair to sit on, put my leg up or cross my legs where my right knee is over my left. So it's kind of supported, and that only lasts for a little bit. And I'm just sitting there like my knee just doesn't feel good doing this, right? And so it's tough in that sense of realizing like, hey, I can't do much of anything, right? So, hey, this injury itself came on from, you know, an active lifestyle, and having to pretty much be inactive is such a significant change. It's a little bit hard not to get in your head a little bit sometimes too, right? And so questions about, what did I do? You know, is this actually going to make a difference? How long is this recovery going to take? Oh my gosh, is this going to ruin all my summer plans? You know, whatever kind of thing. That those definitely do cross my mind, right? And so I realize I'm rambling a little bit. I think a little bit more about like pain management and recovery. I am still taking, what I have been doing is taking like Tylenol at night. So not really much in the way of medication throughout the day. But at night when I'm still, I do try and take a little bit of pain meds then, just to be able to comfortably fall asleep and try and sleep well, right? So being less active too kind of affects my ability to sleep soundly. So doing everything I can to try and get a good night's rest there. As far as getting around the house as I am today, you know, I started out on crutches, you know, obviously 2 crutches, and having pretty much 0 weight on, or, you know, 5%, 10% weight on my right leg. And that's since progressed a little bit, and maybe out of necessity to a degree, where I'm now using a crutch only on my right side and which is, you know, where the side that I got the PRP procedure. And what that's enabled me to do is simple tasks like carry a plate from the dining table into the kitchen and put a dish away, and, you know, make a meal, and, you know, help put my son's toys away, and, you know, little things like that. But I think that is also in line with my knee just feeling, you know, slightly better. So I'm not, you know, trying to go out and say, I'm going to go walk the neighborhood, or I'm going to go, you know, try and run a bunch of errands, or go pick something up at the supermarket. It's like, hey, I'm going to try and limit the amount of time that I'm up and about as much as possible. But when I am up and about, I need to be able to do some things independently. And this is kind of how I can do it, right? And so I feel like it's worked okay. There's no pain, again, in my right knee. I would just say stiffness is kind of the key thing. And, you know, you definitely notice if you're in bed for a long time, leg elevated, and you get down and you start to walk on crutches, it's like the blood flowing down in there. It's like, ooh, this still feels just like swollen, right? You can kind of just notice it a little bit. But obviously wearing or using just a single crutch, you are putting more weight on that affected side or that affected foot. I'm still, you know, trying as much as possible to hold my weight on my hand on that crutch. But there's definitely more weight going to that foot. And so, you know, my doctor, the doctor that performed the procedure said, you know, just kind of take your time and do, you know, what feels manageable as far as, you know, beginning to put weight back on that foot, on that side. And so for me, this feels reasonable. And I'm trying to be mindful of trying to be as inactive as possible. And again, this is the most conservative day that I've had, where I'm just saying, hey, if I don't need to be up and about for the bathroom or making some food or whatever, I'm just going to be in bed. So I'm going to have everything there with me in bed. That's included dusting off like a 8-year-old or 10-year-old Xbox One that obviously haven't used in ages and took hours to update to even be able to use. But maybe the takeaway advice there is you got to find some things to entertain yourself, right? Like yesterday or the day before, you know, I was just looking on YouTube videos a bunch or looking at Netflix a bunch, and I just got bored. I got really bored. And so it's like, there's nothing I can find that like is streaming content that I can keep myself entertained with. So if it's not, you know, playing first person shooter on a gaming device, you know, looking at books, or I've begun to do like some independent study stuff related to my employment as well, which has been kind of engaging. So on top of doing work stuff as well. So yeah, trying to do my best to keep myself occupied and realizing and recognizing, hey, this is just a specific limited period of time where I really have to be really conservative in what I'm doing and how I'm moving about, and that's going to help me get to that next step as far as recovery goes. So that's my update. I think it's still early days. It's very slow progress, but I'm excited, looking forward to what the coming days and weeks provide, right? And I think that on the darker side of that, right, is just like wanting to get through these days of like, okay, let's get to the end of the day so I can sleep again. So it'll be another day. Because that means more time has passed and I will have recovered more, right? And again, that's kind of just a little bit of maybe the mental challenge I think that happens when you're just so sedentary, right? So that's where I'm at. Hopefully provide another update here soon with some more progress. Thanks.